13,660 pounds of stylin' and profilin' Keystone Fuzion fifth wheel toy hauler here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. The updates they have applied to this are absolutely stellar. It's never looked this good before. It's the best looking generation of Fuzion ever, and it's the best equipped generation of Fuzion ever. What they've done in that front bedroom and how they revised their upper deck is stellar. Plus, you might notice over here right next to those main entry steps, you got things like a little outdoor entertainment and mini fridge that weren't there before. They've just really gone through and looked at every nook and cranny and said, how can we take it from 10 to 11? One of the very cool things on a Keystone Fuzion is that they are out of the box a loaded up luxury series fifth wheel toy hauler. There's not a lot you even can do with them, but we've done one of the only things that you can possibly do here. Instead of a retractable screen door, we have this 3 seasons like patio wall right here. It does have screen panels that you can let some airflow pass through, but what's cool is you have like a normal sliding pass-through door that can obviously fold out of the way when you don't want it there. And there are an absolute ton of features to talk about on a Fuzion. So, pardon me if I gloss over some things that are a little more common and shared among most toy haulers. I want to point out the things that are really kind of outstanding or uncommon at the very least. But first, a very important thing to hit on, the fact that, you know, people want to know, what can I put in this thing? This is an 11-foot garage that will handle most anything you're going to throw at it. Unless you've got like an extended 4-seater side-by-side or something like that, you're going to be okay here. So if it's a golf cart, you know, a 2-seat side-by-side, anything like that, you're going to be just fine. The dovetail makes it easy loading, and you see all those extra large tie-downs. That's one of those things I really like to hit on out here. Each one of these things is pull-tested to 5,000 pounds, and underneath that floor is what I call waffle-style construction. There's just a ton of steel that is all crisscross applesauce up in this thing, and every single one of those basically is reinforced directly to a steel chassis framework. Hypothetically, if the trailer were somehow upside down and you had a side-by-side hooked up to this thing, it would be able to hold the weight. Now, I hope you never run into that situation, just to understand it has that capacity. The other thing I like, take a look at these. You see how they're slotted? So that you have multiple tie-down locations per area. That way, like if you have 2 bikes in here, or like even kayaks or something like that, you're not fighting for tie-down space. It's really cool that you can use the same tie-down for more than one thing, effectively. Now, that big smoky glass door right there gives us privacy with easy pass-through, but what I love here is the way that they've done their, well, pardon me, before I get to the TV, like I said, I'm going to just gloss over this. This has the same, you know, you can ride vertically or horizontally, you know, theater-style sofa sleeper benches with a queen bed above. So it has that power queen drop bed. You can use it as 2 bunks. This is a great alternative bunkhouse concept. You've got the loft for extra sleeping your cargo. It's not that that's not a really neat thing. It's the fact that almost every single fifth wheel toy hauler has that. So I want to look at stuff that's different. Like the way the TV drops down here. A lot of fifth wheel toy haulers are set for a TV in the garage. When you get into your upper echelon products, you tend to start seeing the TV actually included, which is part of the budget variance on them, of course. But with the way that they did this here, this is basically like a swing out TV bracket that you find in a travel trailer all day long. They just mounted it vertically. But it's genius because it gets the TV down here where it's a lot less of a neck wrecker, and frankly, you can still kind of tilt it up and down a little bit. So if you're back here on the patio where I'm at, and you want to, you know, pull out a couple patio chairs, you almost have like a separate rear living room built into this thing. But what's also cool is the way that you see that kind of outside baggage door behind the TV. They are really, really creative and smart about making sure that they use every nook and cranny of these Fuzions. You can see it better when you flip the TV out of the way, you drop that door down. First of all, those little cargo nuts are handy for just little loose objects, but you get up in here and what you find is this is a great place to keep the ladder that you can use to access that rear power queen bed that drops down here in the garage, or get you up to the loft sleeping and or cargo storage attic area. And look how even in here, it's fully finished off. You don't see raw construction. Now you see some aluminum supports for that loft area, which is nice. But you know, everything is really dressed and pressed here, even where they're not expecting you to look. That's always been a good indicator to me of a brand that is just really detail oriented. Now a couple more awesome details. Up top here, you see a air conditioner. Now, this air conditioner is specific only to the garage. You will not see central air ducting through this RV. And that is for a very good reason, because if you're loading stuff in here, if you have any sort of, exhaust, they want to make sure that it can't bleed up through into the primary living area. So that's a 15,000 BTU air. In the living area, you'll find another one of those. In the bedroom, you find another one of those. And what's really cool on a Fuzion is you can run all 3 air conditioners simultaneously on 50 amp service or the generator. What is also really cool on one of these Fuzions is that if you only have 30 amp service available, the ACs have such low draw, you can still run 2 air conditioners simultaneously. And that's not with a power management system. It can just run them. The compressor, triple compressor simultaneous use. That's the difference. A lot of people say, well, my fifth wheel toy hauler has triple simultaneous air. Chances are it doesn't. There are a few others, like a Seismic can do it. They were actually the industry first to do that. But a lot of fifth wheel systems, what they'll do is they'll run, say, like the living room air, and then it'll flip-flop the compressor from the garage to the bedroom. This will run all 3 at the same time. You're getting triple simultaneous cooling. And as you might have noticed, we have a full viewing window built right into that entry door, which is fantastic. And what's really nice is it has that sort of welcome home kind of country cottage look and feel inside. It doesn't feel like a toy hauler in here. And that's where it kind of separates itself from a lot of the stuff out there. You find a lot of that like black or super dark like walnut espresso kind of cabinetry. This just has a sort of kind of welcome home, country cottage sort of feel to it, you know. That TV can pivot around for even easier viewing, although I don't think you're ever going to need to. There's some hidden storage behind that we'll see in just a second when we check out the kitchen. But first, looking at the rest of the entertainment, we've got our, normal Bluetooth, DVD, equipment system, soundbar, all that kind of stuff. It's nice that you have that electric heating fireplace there, though. That's some extra heat that won't burn up your propane. The loft area up top, you can use that as either, extra sleeping space. Remember, it does have a ladder in that little hidden compartment to get to it. Or you could easily use that as like attic storage space. There's no one way that you have to use it. It's kind of nice how they let you sort of pick and choose. The smoky glass window there on that door also gives you some excellent privacy, but it's wide enough for easy come and go. Now the multi-seat kind of recliner party couch right here, it just does everything. It does everything. And notice how it's located in a carpetless slide system. So there is no carpet here in our kitchen living area. All 3 sections can obviously recline. The middle section is like an XL console that also has some handy power outlets built into it. Very cool for, if it's just more of a couples camping situation. You got places to set your drinks. You got a place to keep your phone charged up. And you can see how these seats can recline, and they are that is as far back as it goes, by the way. But so it doesn't lie flat, but it's perfect if you want to just take in some of that entertainment off the TV right across from me. You can. Our cup holders on the sides here have our heat and massage controls, plus a little kind of accent lighting. And as I pivot around the other way, it comes with a pair of these sort of swivel side stands that you can utilize if you're so inclined. I've got one in place right now so you can get the look of it, but again, you don't have to have them there. Those are very good for people like me that are clumsy, and I'm always like, no, I'm a grown-up adult. I can balance a plate and eat at the same time. Spoiler, I can't. I don't know why. I'm not intentionally a slob. I'm just clumsy, I think, is the thing. I try not to be. I can't help it. I just can't help it. Probably the same reason I don't have good handwriting. I just don't have good fine motor controls with my fingers. Big 18 cubic foot gas electric RV, traveling fridge freezer. Awesome whether you're on grid, off grid, doesn't matter. Up top, we've got that skylight, with just letting in some extra natural lighting. But you've also got a larger, like, max air vent fan above that kitchen over here. And I love that accent light above all the cabinetry. The other thing is, this has surprisingly good kitchen capacity for what you'd consider a smaller fifth wheel toy hauler. Although, you say the word fifth wheel toy hauler, small is usually not part of the equation. So all pocket screwed cabinetry, all hidden hinges to give it that nice sleek kind of look. You see the convection microwave over there. And the thing is, the more you look at this, the more you realize, even though they're vastly different looking, a Fuzion is basically a Montana luxury fifth wheel with a garage on it. It's in that sense, that's kind of an easy way to wrap your head around these. But look what they did, It's not just a stove backsplash, it's a counter to cabinet backsplash that wraps all the way around this awesome horseshoe prep space. And the amount of total prep area you get here is absolutely awesome. You do have dual covers for the sink. I just left one off so you could see that big stainless farm sink down there. Easy reach appliance outlets, larger 22-inch oven with a full drawer below. Below the sink, you've got your dedicated wastebasket space and some handy additional shelves and whatnot. But they didn't waste anything. Now you're like, yeah, but they could have put cabinet space over here under those drawers. Well, when we wrap around past a little barley poppinator, you see these really cool swing out swivel kind of seats right here, these sort of built-in bar stools, if you will. But they actually gave you a little cubby for either shoes or your feet or anything like that, so you're not constantly banging your knees against stuff. And those things are legit. You can see they're steel anchored. I can stand on them, and I'm pushing about 200 pounds right now. I got to get that back under control. Our in-command system, the touch panel is located right here by the entry door, by the way, which you see, just like the garage, has another full viewing window. So it's nicely centralized, but remember, you can always just use your phone to control that thing. And then I said we'd see some hidden storage behind the entertainment center. It's neat that they have this kind of haunted house hidden pantry, if you will. Pretty appropriate considering at the time of this filming it is coming into the Halloween season. But they just didn't waste anything. It's there if you need it, gone when you don't. It magnet locks in place. In case you're kind of curious what this thing is over here next to the magnet lock, that is the thermal probe for the in-command system. So that's what talks to the air conditioner and the furnace system to know how hot or cold it is, to know if it needs to turn the air up, down, or inside out. When they revised the upper decks of almost all of the Fusions, they wanted to include bed slides instead of just closet slides. That meant the bathrooms also had to change because they're kind of, they didn't want to make the RVs larger than they used to be. They just wanted to make them better than they used to be. And what they did, I think, is really effective, especially when you see the way they handled the closet up front. This bathroom's great. It's perfectly sufficient. Sealed edge countertop, by the way, right there. And we've got a porcelain foot flush stool in front of that seamless one-piece shower. Now you've got a corner seating area there, of course, and as I walk inside, you see you have height adjustable hardware. If you start listing off or keeping track of all the things that I just mentioned right there, it's going to start sounding a lot like a Montana bathroom. And once again, there is a pretty serious relationship between Fuzion and Montana. They are separate divisions at Keystone, but they kind of work hand in hand. They're each sort of premier levels of their respective brands. You can see here that with that little wall in between us, we have a dual entry bathroom, which is nice if you are using this as an alternative bunkhouse or just have a guest. But over here, this is one of the main things that changed. This has a full walk-in height, walk-around king bedroom that was not here before. It was a north-south bed that you had to kind of butt squeak around the wall to get through. There are power outlets down in that rear corner down there, that little black-on-black thing. They made sure that they were going to be CPAP friendly. Over here, the way that they handle the closet space is really cool. Like you see, you have dedicated closet storage there, but then you've got these big double mirror doors on the side. Well, one of those slides open, one of those swings open, and what it reveals is that you now have, instead of washer-dryer hookups in the garage, as is the case with almost all toy haulers, kind of bridging the gap between traditional luxury fifth wheel and toy hauler, you have bedroom washer-dryer hookups here. But what's neat is how they made it like a side-by-side hookup, and you can kind of set them right under that sort of shelf, so you actually have a place, if you're going to use a washer-dryer, to set your clothes while you're folding them, or have a little hang-up space. But the other neat thing here is if you want to, you can either fold that shelf up or just pull it out of there. It's not like cemented into place. And you can just leave that thing wide open. So if you have tall hanging stuff, you can do that too. Again, we are carpetless, even up here in the bedroom. Now there's a little kind of carpet buffer on the frame rails. That's the extra structure on the upper deck helping support this thing that we're looking at right there. Extra dresser space across from the bed. And just like in the living room, the garage, you have a TV that can pivot down toward where you're going to be. That's another cool thing on these Fusions. Triple air, triple TV on this 369. And you don't have to option this stuff in. It is just built loaded from the word go. Below that bedroom and bathroom, we we have our pass-through storage compartment. You see that kind of hutch jutting into the middle. That's our centralized command center docking station. We'll see that in a few minutes. What I want to look at over here, though, is these Fuzions do have like the most advanced version available of the in-command system. It was one of the first RVs in the mainstream market that had that, Fuzions and Legacy Montanas. It is an awesome system. Now, also included in that little shielded panel that we saw is all the color-coded wiring, which is Keystone was the first towable manufacturer to color-code all their wiring, and wouldn't you know it, it improved their wiring accuracy, and we don't seem to have electrical issues ever since that. Magical, right? The MORryde stable step system, perfectly located above the wheel well, and you might notice as we get closer, those are Goodyear endurance radials, rated for up to 87 miles an hour. Now the little open compartment that we're looking at right here with the mini fridge and the TV hookups, that is a newer addition to this floor plan, and I love that revision. And it's all kind of located in a space under the kitchen counter that you wouldn't have used otherwise. So you didn't lose anything. All you did was gain the ability to have a little outdoor entertainment center, but anybody and everybody will use that outside fridge. Absolutely. Now you see that little white paper tag hanging down? It also has outside grill hookups right there. So I mean, you've got all kinds of room for your almost, you know, not an outside kitchen, but you really kind of get the same benefits in a sense of an outside kitchen. And I've noticed a lot of people like to use their own aftermarket grills and griddles. So I think having just a hookup and letting you use your own cooker, if you're even inclined to do so, is a great idea. And let's just take a second, just soak it all in. The lines, the look on this thing, that is the best looking Fuzion I have seen to date. Some people are going to be a little skeptical about the fact that the bed slides over here on the door side of the RV, but I'm 6'3", I could walk right under that thing and not hit my head, so I don't think it's really an issue. It significantly reduces the amount of length that you would have had to add to this RV to flip-flop the bedroom due to the bed, bath, kitchen kind of exchange and location. Like most toy haulers, these are wide body to give you that extra living and loading space. What you're not seeing though, just due to the way that they've expanded their front compartment storage, they added this extra overhead shelf as we go past the Equiflex, or, well, pardon me, Rotoflex by Trail Air pin box. Essentially the same thing, just the newer version of it, and added that extra storage shelf up top. But down in here, we have our Onan 5500 generator, which is capable of running anything and everything in this RV, including all 3 air conditioners simultaneously, because once again, they've gone with an AC system on this that can actually, they just have a softer startup is effectively what it is. All Fuzions and Impacts have their, I don't know what their name, like Blizzard insulation package or whatever, but for that, you know, extra weather protection, you've got the enclosed heated belly, protected docking center, radiant barriers all over the place. And something I've noticed the last couple summers, like when we walk around when we're just looking at fifth wheels with customers, I swear, when I walk into a Fuzion, it feels like it's 10 degrees cooler inside. They just keep the sun out even without running the air. Then you factor in the fact that you can run all 3 airs simultaneously here, not with a 2 air plus flip-flop kind of energy management system, but 3 simultaneous air systems on this. It does a fantastic job. In case you're wondering, like, how did they add that extra shelf up there that wasn't there before? It's a miniaturized drop frame. Now, they didn't go too crazy with that drop frame. They didn't drop it all the way back here because that would have added a lot of weight to the RV, and they're trying to make sure, especially these tandem axle Fuzions, can stay potentially in that single rear wheel 1-ton range, although obviously every vehicle's capacities vary a little bit. I love the protected docking center in here. You've got your Key TV hookups, full outside shower. If you don't know what Key TV is, basically, no more of that annoying signal antenna booster button nonsense in your RV. Everything is a straight 1-line run. It's called a home run, straight to that input right there. It's awesome. You're just your quick disconnect, and then everything is all color coded. You know, if you know your colors red, white, and blue, which I'm pretty sure most of us do ever since we were, you know, knee-high to a grasshopper, you know how to run this system. It is not complicated. You take a look at it, you go, oh, I just flipped this one here, this one there. And again, our gate valves are all protected, enclosed, heated. It's exactly what you want for something where if you're going to be using it in hot weather or cold weather, this is capable of being pretty much anytime used. And a quick look at those Goodyear Endurance beast radials, 87 mile an hour rated, and they only need 80 psi, which what that means is if you're going down the road and you do need tire pressure, you can just like stop at a gas station. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, we gotta Google a tow truck company to find a high pressure air compressor, honey. It's just simpler and easier. A lot of people don't even realize that's a thing. And they've made it so that you don't have to realize it's a thing. Additionally, the MORryde CRE 3000 system, CRE stands for Compression Rubber Equalization. What that means is shock dampening with 3 inches of wheel travel variance, which is what you tend to find on a lot of luxury fifth wheels. Again, 6-point auto leveling. And you can see here the split fuel tanks. So we've got our fuel station in the back, which is utilizing the rear tank fill, but our generator up front has its own separate tank. That's something you tend to find on the more premier level of toy haulers, like say Jayco Seismic we might also have here at Haylett RV. That is really cool because what it lets you do is, like, let's say you're like, I don't care about the fuel station, I'm not looking to you know, put gas in my toys when I'm off grid or whatever. What it can let you do though is you can have a tank dedicated to your generator, and when the generator's tank is exhausted, you can cross pump over. They don't have a cross flow valve, so that if you want to use 2 different types of fuel, like a higher octane fuel for your toys versus the generator, they want to make sure that those fuels don't blend and bleed into one another. But you can just use the fuel station to cross pump for the generator. Always on side mount roof ladder. We'll scramble up that before we're done here. The 0G ramp patio package is something that I love on these Fusions, and I don't see it used with you know, a lot of frequency in the RV business. Probably because it's not the least expensive component they could put back here. It requires a completely different opening for that garage door. But what's awesome about it is, first of all, it's got like an electronic key lock system, like it operates very much like the hatch on a hatchback SUV, and it won't fall down. It's self-supporting, just like a lot of the MORryde stable steps that you see in the industry. That's a MORryde stable ramp patio system, if that makes any sense to you. But notice something a little different here. With that side entry system on the patio, they've added a couple feet to the actual ramp door itself. And notice how I do not have the drawbridge style cable support hooked up to this side. That's because you don't have to use those. Like, you can, it is there, I'm just not using it. If you look up at the entry area, or the framework of that ramp patio door, it is there. But what this lets us do is get that cable out of the way so you can walk in and out. But the other thing is, these ramp patio doors right here, they are rated for 3,000 pounds loading, but typically 1,500 pounds for patio use because they don't have any extra support under them. When you use those foot pegs like we've done there, and they're adjustable in height, by the way, so it can marry up to like any campsite, you regain a 3,000 pound patio capacity, which is absolutely awesome. So if you really want to have a whole bunch of potentially big adults out there, you can, and you're not going to break anything. You have a power awning over that rear patio that can lock down so that even on a breezy day you're good. And notice on the side we have dual power awnings with floodlighting above the entry door. So if you really want to just the same kind of floodlights that you see used over the garage, if you really want to just keep the party going all night long, this is the thing that'll let you keep the party going all night long. Better if you're, you know, not parked next to neighbors who are like, turn your lights off, blah! Because there's always one of those people that are just allergic to fun or something like that. You get the idea. Now this neat little toy or tool chest right here, a lot of times manufacturers will put that in the dovetail of the garage, but that can make it a little difficult to access sometimes. So what Fuzion did is they actually mounted their tool chest, instead of in the garage floor, they mounted it out here on basically the side of the frame rail below the floor. And what's cool is it makes it easier to access. Also, if you want to, you could easily run some power lines or something down here to be able to power up some tools. It's not real hard to do that, but the fact is it's just cool that this is wide open. And, you know, if you've got power drills or wheel chocks, I mean, this would be a great place to keep wheel chocks and stuff like that, so when you get to your site, you don't have to unload your toys to chock up your wheels. Doesn't it? It just makes more sense that it's here where you can get to it any time. The polar white roof skin on this thing is going to help keep the sunshine out of it, to help keep you cooler. One of the several reasons that I mentioned, it just, Even without the AC on, when you're just walking around our dealership in the summertime, the Fusions just feel cooler. There's a ton of real estate up here, and where that's really handy, all this blank space is right in front of the bathroom skylight. You see that black thing sitting there? This is roof solar prepped. So if you do want to add some solar panels to the roof, you have plenty of space to do it. That black bucket looking thing is our Winegard Air 360. A lot of campers have gone to this because, first of all, one of the nice parts about it is that it will, it's omnidirectional. You don't have to crank it up and down. So all you do, you get to your destination, you channel scan one time, then you're done. Go camping. That's the point, is not to have to like turn the antenna, scan, turn the antenna, scan. Nope, turn back, and that's annoying. Kind of like my voice, right? The other thing is you can upgrade that to include like an LTE receiver effectively, so that can function in a sense as the camper's data receiver and then rebroadcast into a local Wi-Fi network. Now you see you've got your first of 3 centralized air conditioners up here by the bedroom, and as we turn around, it looks really wacky, but you see 2 air conditioners just stacked on top of one another. Remember, there's a reason for it. This has completely separate air systems in the garage from your living area, so that you don't have any vents where exhaust from the toys that you're loading could potentially bleed through into the rest of the RV. Things like that cost a little more money. That's going to be one of your differences between a Fuzion Impact series and a full-blood Fuzion Luxury series like we're in right now. It's not called Fuzion Luxury. I just use that name because it helps people understand which one's which. So the rear air conditioner is dedicated strictly to the garage, whereas this one, it's all the way in the back of the living area with the other air conditioner all the way at the front of the living area, so that the entire living cabin, the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, the bedroom, always gets good, even airflow. Whew! These are never the shortest videos, these Fusions, because there is so much going on with them. Frankly, there's more going on with them still. And I mean, as you can see, good Lord, we have a lot of trailers out here, and they all have their little things that make them really stand out, that make them really exceptional. Kind of like each member of our sales team in that office over there. They're each really kind of experts at different things, and we all kind of work together to help every client to the greatest of our ability. If that sounds good, if you appreciate what we've done here with me climbing around on the roofs of RVs in the chilly fall breeze, all I ask is you give our team a call. You know, it's fair. If you find what we do useful, just give our team a call. Give us the opportunity to work with you. Whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between, give us a call. We do it all. Well, no, we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. So if that sounds good to you, let us know. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.